In May of this year, we had several initiatives. We had a youth forum where we had several young people gathered together in order to at least try to plug into their hearts and minds the sight and the hope of a new Liberia. The new Liberia, not based on infrastructure outside of us, but based on an infrastructure inside of us. Because do you understand, while poverty may exist on the outside, poverty has little to do with what you physically possess. Poverty has everything to do with what lives between your two ears. So we spoke with the young people, and we started giving them sight of a future. Among those young people were young men who were young people, little child soldiers at the height of the Civil War. They were in those meetings. We had a women's forum because, again, we understand that during the Civil War, the women were literally abused, humiliated, raped, destroyed. Their very psyche and sense of self was compromised. And so we gathered the women, and we had a seminar with the young women over 3 days. We also had a business forum. The business forum was on one day, the entire Saturday, where we had quite a number of businessmen and professionals trying to talk to them about what Liberia is and what it can become. This was not just nice Christian hallelujah, jumping, screaming type of meeting. That jumping, screaming, hallelujah type of meeting, as I said, that is a spiritual black hole. You invest into the jumping, screaming, and hallelujah, and I promise you, nothing gonna come out of that.
Yeah.
That is not my intention at all. So we had a business forum, spoke with the young people, spoke with the women, and we are back in Liberia in the month of October, where we are doing another women's intervention, and we are having, together with the women's intervention, we actually have a fashion show, trying to do something different. We have a top fashion designer out of Kenya coming up, and she's gonna have some of the women model some of her designs and all that kind of stuff, trying to bring people into a sense of hope. The intention further down the road is to build some small malls with some of the properties that have been left abandoned so that we could start to give people opportunities to make income. The long-term plan is we already had conversations with guys in order to get a hospital. We've had initial conversations with one guy who is in Congo Town as well, who already has the land available in order to build a medical facility to help the people in Liberia. The other thing we had conversations with, we have the hope to open like a chain of pharmacies because in most of the remote areas, if you have a disease at a certain time and you need urgent medical attention, even if you need just a basic drug to alleviate your pain, it is not available. And so we are looking at the possibility to get some pharmacies across Liberia. With that, I have had conversations with guys out in Texas and other areas with the hope of building to build a facility that will be able to provide and produce biofuels. While in Liberia in October, there was a shortage of fuel. And so what I understand is that all of the gasoline in Liberia is actually imported from Saudi Arabia. And there was no gasoline, long lines, and people were actually pouring gasoline out of little containers into their cars, which of itself is a hazard, both to the one who are pouring it because they're having direct contact with that poison, as well as even the cars. That thing can explode and all kind of crazy stuff. So we are looking at the possibility of building a biochemical plant in Liberia that will be able to provide the country with about 1 million metric ton of gasoline that will not pollute the country because you're doing biochemicals. We have a lot of little plans. The intent is, as I said, after 10 years, I want to take a step back with a sense of satisfaction that we've done as much as we can to give God a path in which He can literally transform the country in every single way.
Yes.
We have meetings lined up with the president and with his administration and major players in the society so that we can begin to speak to them about the dynamics of properly leading a society. We've been talking in our business forum about anti-corruption tendencies because what is going on in countries like Liberia and most of Africa is that the country has wealth. Africa is the wealthiest piece of real estate on the planet. But most of our leaders have had their hands too deep into the cash register, basically pillaging the national resources to enrich themselves. And so we have to change the whole dynamic. We are looking at the judiciary and looking at ways by which we can speak to the nation in terms of rehabilitating its judicial process. In other words, what I've just spelled out for you is a massive plan. What I want is, after about 5 years of going in and out of Liberia, I would like to have a solemn assembly where we have, let's say, 70,000 people gathering in the National Stadium, including the politicians, and where there's a day of national repentance. Because I really would like to see Liberia literally turn. We have examples, we have stories, we have situations of nations being transformed in a real way, not just by reading little scriptures and reading history books, but I believe that we have the ability, among the few of us who are here and those who are working in Liberia effortlessly, we have the ability to make a meaningful contribution towards the literal transformation of our society. I've always said that, to me, Liberia is a petri dish. You know what a petri dish is? It's like a lab. In other words, if we do this thing right in Liberia, and I believe God has given us patterns, if we do it right, we can lift the models that we have built in Liberia and take it to other countries. And we could say we could do this in Ghana, we could do this in Fiji, we could do this down in Samoa, we could do it in Vanuatu, we could do it in the Caribbean, we could do it in America. Because I believe that God is giving us ideas and models that are scalable. Scalable means we can pick it up and literally transplant it anywhere in the world. We're going to build houses. Interestingly enough, we just had a meeting with one of the richest men in Kenya, who is about 70 years old and who has cancer. This guy has no wife, he has about 3 children, but his cancer has gone into remission, and he is basically saying that he is seeing the rest of his days as being limited, and for all of his playing and all of the fooling around, he now wants to leave a legacy. This guy has untold amount of billions, and he now wants to leave a legacy. Obviously, I am from Trinidad, and my response to him is, you want to leave a legacy? Think about Liberia. Because my heart is not my personal comfort. My heart is not, well, okay, think about giving me some cash that I can do some stuff in Trinidad. Think about Liberia. Let's make an investment to the good of the country. We've had young men who are basically studying in different parts of Africa to build low-income houses. It's interesting that years ago I had a company called Sun Island Energy Solution, where I did a lot of work in areas of alternative energy in terms of solar panels, etc. And about 8 years ago, I designed a house that I wanted to take into Rwanda. This is a simple unit that has 2 bedrooms for low-income families, 2 bedrooms, living room, and all the basic amenities, including solarized refrigerators, electricity, everything. This system is very simple and not very expensive. On top of that, we added an aquaponics system. There's something called hydroponics and there's something called aquaponics. Hydroponics basically is where you can use a very unique solution in order to just grow food. Aquaponics is where you have both food and plant, not just food, sorry, but it's not just greenery or plants. Hydroponics deals with plants. Aquaponics deals with plants and fish, where the runoff of the fish excretion provides the appropriate nitrogen for the planting of their food. It's all natural. And so the design we have for Liberia is to build a community that is completely alternative energy, off the grid, so that we don't have to be utilizing the limited amount of power supply that's in the country. And with that, you build a community where if there's 100 people living in that community, they have enough food to feed themselves. Because it's not just a home, but they have alternative energy. That means you're depending on the sun to give you all of your lights to power your refrigerator. And on top of that, we are also providing them with an aquaponic system where they can, among themselves, they at least have a meal that people don't have to starve. The vision we have for Liberia is broad. And it is not just intended to bring some value to a pastor down the street where he could sing a little better song and do a little righteous holy hop in his church. The intention is to make a meaningful contribution. The reason why I started by talking about God taking a man like Abraham out of his country so that he could be of value to the rest of the world. The reason why I gave the example of Joseph being plucked out of his own comfort in order to bring value back to the people that he came from is because I'm speaking not about Joseph, nor about Abraham, I'm speaking to you. In other words, the moral of that story is this: you are Joseph. The moral of this story is this: you are Abraham. That's the objective. So that's part of the vision. So let me kind of give it to you in a very simple way. The vision is this: we want to superimpose the kingdom, not Christianity. And I know that will provoke a lot of questions, and I welcome that. That's good. Abraham is here, so he will answer all of that for you. We want to superimpose the kingdom on basically 5 dynamic areas of life. One is on the church and its redemptive mandate. We're going to bring the kingdom to bear upon church leaders across Liberia. That's a meaningful place to be, because most of the people that are of significance and consequence, we realize that they're deep inside of the bowels of the church. And the problem is you have significant leaders holding major positions in the country, political responsibilities, entrepreneurial responsibilities. They are working inside of the civil societies, and they are in the church. And this is the part that concerns me, that the level of corruption in the country, while most of those who hold high offices are in the church. So corruption is rampant, and the perpetrators of that corruption are within the church. So somehow, even the church has to get redeemed. Right. We have to fix the church, so we have to bring the kingdom to bear upon the church and all of its redemptive responsibilities. Hence, we have pastors' conferences. We will still do schools and gather the leaders in order to give them a broad view of the bigger purposes of God than just having a church to make some income to feed your family. We have to bring the kingdom of God to bear upon the relevant social structures. So we have to bring massive social intervention into the society. And I put relevant here because, listen, my intention is not to give a man a fish. My intention is to at least give a man a fishing rod. Because God's way of addressing poverty was never a handout. And that's what happens in most societies like Liberia. Because we think that we would solve our problems by the UN giving us more money and by other donors giving us money. Listen, Liberia and Haiti and other poor countries, they have had more financial donors than any other country, donations in the tune of the billions. And where has it gone? Into a spiritual black hole. It disappears. Why? You cannot solve poverty by handouts. You solve poverty by opportunity. In the Word of God, this is what God says. If you are poor, and there's poor among you, He established systems like gleanings. You know what gleaning was? If I have a mango tree, and my mango tree, fruits fall off my mango tree on its own, it was not legal for me to collect those mangoes and eat them for myself. Those mangoes fall on the ground. Listen to this. It was illegal for me to pick up those mangoes and give it to you. Because me picking up my mangoes and giving it to you, I could be subsidizing laziness. The law says, if there's mango off of my tree fell on its own, I give you the opportunity to come and collect the mangoes yourself. So poverty was addressed by opportunity. You have no food to eat, I'm not going to bring food for you. It has food there. I give you the opportunity to go and collect it yourself. So when I say relevant social interventions, I am not engaging in a process of handouts. I was in Barbados recently, and we were doing a seminar, and the administration sent the Minister of Finance, because Barbados is now plunged in major economic crisis. The country does not have enough money to even pay their staff. The teachers and everybody else can't be paid. And so the government is crying out for help. And we went there to give a solution. We gathered the pastors from across the country The Minister of Finance was there, and he was listening in this conversation. He interjected from time to time. And this was our plan. The Bible speaks of the year of release, the year of Jubilee. And I presented a very simple model. That if these patterns are in the Word of God, let's put it to practice. The government is in need of help. And all of you pastors, with all of your members, if you could only release the government from the taxes they owe you, you'll be sparing the government, and we have all the figures, you'll be sparing the government figures in the tune of over $8 billion. Those billions of dollars could help get this country moving. It was a very interesting principle that the country latched onto, and we helped the society. Not to enrich ourselves, but to help the country. There's something called relevant social interventions, not handouts, trying to fix a problem. We also want the kingdom to bear in the marketplace. Marketplace meaning businessmen, entrepreneurs, professionals, and politicians. We have to bring the kingdom there to them. Hence we have business forums, training businessmen in terms of how to act correctly, how to utilize their resources correctly, how to network and gather their resources. Why is it in countries like Liberia, you have a Syrian coming inside of there with $1,000, and after a while he owns all of the grocery stores. And the Liberians are sitting there and constantly complaining. And they said a real craftsman always sees the beauty that is buried inside of the designer. So a man a man will pass by and see this ugly log at the side of the road. A master craftsman doesn't see an ugly log. He sees a masterpiece of craftsman, a piece of work buried inside of that ugly log. Most of us see Liberia the wrong way. The country has beauty, it has potential, it has massive, massive resources, and it's time for us to turn it around. Next, we have to bring the kingdom to bear on education and civil societies. And we have to bring the kingdom to bear upon honorable, corrupt-free, monetized initiatives. That's a very important part right here. Corrupt-free, monetized initiatives. In other words, we are not just going to Liberia and asking the rest of the world to help us to bring value to Liberia. We will ask Liberia to bring value to itself. So we are also exploring initiatives in Liberia that could be monetized. So the biochemical plant that we are looking to bring into Liberia, that will be owned by us. Right? Being owned by some Chinese guy, or some Palestinian, or some Lebanese. That's owned by us. Us meaning Interface Global. Owned by us, because I've been talking to all the relevant bodies, and the intention is we can actually put a biochemical plant in Liberia for just small pennies. And if we get that up and running, that is a monetized initiative. It generates money right in Liberia, and we can put that money right back into initiatives on the ground. But we don't have to rob people and take advantage of them. We've been talking with a bank down in Botswana who will help us to at least help poor people who cannot literally go to the bank and get loans. Because deep in the hinterlands of Liberia, it has people who want to get a proper house, but they can't afford it because they don't have earnings. So we have systems in place talking to people. All of this is happening behind the scenes. Most of this stuff we don't talk about, but we have a lot of stuff going on. So even now, all you may see is that we go to conferences and we've been there 3 times, but what you don't know is a lot of conversation happening outside of all of that. A lot of stuff going on. So these are some of the plans to bring the kingdom to bear upon all of these areas. Now what we need in order to do that, 1, we need greater collaboration and less command and control. What we need to bring all these things that I talked to you about, we need a deep sense of collaboration. We need people who can say, listen, let us join our efforts together to make this happen. When I say less command and control, I don't believe in micromanaging. You get to know me, listen, you get to know me and we work together. My thing is, guys, take initiative. Even if you make a mistake, I welcome people making mistakes. Because listen, you can only steer a moving car. A car that is not going anywhere, you can't do nothing with that, You could have a Lamborghini parked up in your driveway, doing nothing with it. Or you could have an old broken down Toyota driving down the highway, puttering forward. That thing has more value than your Lamborghini parked up in the car. What's the moral of the story? You could be a Lamborghini in the spirit, but you're not doing anything. And you could be an old relic of a Toyota, but understand, I'm willing to work. Let me see what I can do. You have more value. We need a greater sense of collaboration and less command and control. What do we need? We need shareholders in the work. What I just said, what I just spelled out for you here, we need shareholders in the work who can take initiative while maintaining appropriate accountability. Shareholders. Jesus one day said to his disciples, I no longer call you servants, I call you friends. Because a servant does not know what his master is doing. That's a shareholder. Basically, I want you to know what we're doing. So you cannot just stand at a distance and say, well, I understand they're doing a good work. We are doing a work. We want shareholders in the process who can take initiative while maintaining accountability. That's important. Do you understand? Taking initiative is a very important part of how your body functions. Do you know if you have a bruise in your toe is wounded? Do you understand that your white blood cells are not standing there waiting for the heart to give instructions? No. So your white blood cells are there, well, there's a problem, but the pastor, I have to wait for the pastor to tell me what to do. I have to wait for the leader to tell me what to do. And so the white blood cells are standing there saying, well, we just don't know what to do. We're waiting until we are told. No. The moment you have a wound, those things go to work they just work. But what goes on is this. There are hormones in your body that sends information. So your white blood cells immediately address the problem, and all your hormones are sending information throughout your body. So you need more blood. The hormones are saying to the heart, send more blood to us while we address this problem. Your kidney is being addressed. All parts of the body is being addressed while your white blood cells take initiative. You follow me? And so the point is, if you have the correct people working with you, you don't have to stand in some corner waiting to say, well, I don't know what to do until you command me. No, take initiative, but maintain accountability. Send information back. I'm doing this, we're doing that, we're trying to get that done. I don't believe in command and control. I don't believe in micromanaging. The term that I use, I don't believe in the 1600-mile screwdriver. It's a term used in business to describe a person who stands at a distance and tries to control something way outside their orbit. What we need people who can easily yield to the kingdom, to the prevailing kingdom culture, and change. We need people who can yield to kingdom culture and change. In other words, remember I said earlier, that in order for Joseph to be of value to the people that he will bring value to, he had to abandon some of the pain he carried. He had to learn to forget. Because he could not go back to his brothers with vindictiveness and hate and animosity. He had to learn to forget. Abraham had to get rid of all of his Mesopotamian foolishness. We need people who can subscribe to the prevailing kingdom culture and change. That you cannot be a Liberian in the spirit. Let me say it again. You cannot maintain your Liberianness. You cannot stay in the pit and help the man who is in it. Let it come out of the pit. In your attitude, in your mentality, in your perspective, in your values, in your disposition, come out of the pit. People must be willing to yield to the prevailing kingdom culture and change. What do we need? We need a company of people who refuses to remain stoic and inflexible in their injurious, religious, and historical positions. We need people who are not holding on too tightly to the religious stuff. Well, I'm a Pentecostal and this is how we do it. I'm a Baptist and this is how we do it. Listen, God is not a Baptist. It might shock you. He's not a Pentecostal either. God is not a Pentecostal. So all of us kind of hold so tightly to our religious ideal. And those things are so injurious to the advance of God's purpose. Because it creates all kind of bickering and infighting and wars and all kind of nonsense and division. Listen, the kingdom does not allow for all of that kind of divisiveness. Religion allows for it. Religion allows for it. Well, I'm a Baptist. You know, I'm a Pentecostal. I'm a Moravian. We need a company of people who refuses to remain stoic and inflexible. You're too rigid. So rigid. Nothing can move. God can scream in your ear with a megaphone and you won't respond. Because you're too rigid and inflexible. What we need? What happened there? We need a company of the most committed and most competent, working seamlessly and harmoniously in a flattened and integrated structure. I'm going to explain that. You realize I said, first of all, we need a company of people who are first committed, not necessarily competent. Because very often, if you bring with you, first of all, your competence without your commitment, you'll destabilize the process.
Yes, sir.
You know, let me give you Bible here. Remember from scripture that Paul said, the things you've heard of me among many witnesses, commit unto faithful men who shall be able. Let me say it together. Commit unto faithful men who shall be able. Say it again. Commit unto faithful men who shall be able. What we do, we look for able men and try to make them faithful. So we get caught up by ability. No. Commit unto faithful. Character always trumps ability. And so what we need is a company of committed individuals who are equally competent, working seamlessly and harmoniously. When I say a flattened and integrated structure, that is the nature of the system we are seeking to build. I don't believe in top-down hierarchical order. Flattened and integrated, meaning, listen, I am not Apostle, Reverend, Doctor, Man of God, Bishop, Dr. Anderson Williams. I'm Anderson, your brother. Flattened. You get the point?
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine? John was the most high voltage apostle on the earth. This guy, they tried to kill him so many times. They fried him in oil.
Yes, sir.
He was the most major apostolic figure in those days when he was in Patmos. And this is John. John didn't say, well, John, the most intense apostolic figure on the planet, who wrote 3 major apostles, who was the only one privileged to lay his head against the bosoms of Jesus. No, John said, John, your brother and companion. He just got rid of all of this nonsense. Yeah. All this nonsense. Apostle, Reverend, Doctor, nonsense.
Come on.
All this hierarchical nonsense, it destabilizes the order. What we want is normal people working in a flattened, not hierarchical, a flattened and integrated structure. That I could work with you as an ordinary believer just as I could work with the president. I could walk the streets with you and dig up the holes. And I told Ruben in the very beginning, we want to plan a day to go and have a cleanup in Marshall. Go and pick up all the droppings of human beings at the side of the road, and I will come too. Clear up the place. I don't have a problem doing that because, listen, I am not a Reverend, Doctor, Man of God, Bishop, Apostle. I am Anderson Williams, your brother. Right? Flattened and integrated. Let's say together. Flattened and integrated. Not hierarchical and separate. Because once you go hierarchical, listen, I don't do that stuff, brother. I'm the man of God. You know, I don't speak with lesser mortals. I'm the man of God. So the meeting comes together and you sing your songs, and I make my wonderful entrance. Then I say, bow your heads, and I make my departure.
Yeah.
By the time you open your eyes, and where did he go? You know, we create this sense of elusiveness. He's the man of God. He's just, wow. He has to look holier than thou, so he dresses differently. He wears nice fancy suits, and when he walks in there, he gives you the impression that he's the man of God. He comes in, and he would sit there while the worship is going on and look around because he's the man of God. He looks around. Yeah. Everybody is kind of singing and their hands up, and he only gets activated when he gets a microphone in his hand. He is disengaged I'm not even involved. He gets a microphone. Somebody say, praise God, somebody.